I think it is not widely recognized that Muslims take writing very, very seriously. I mean, right at the heart of Islam, there is the Quran, the book that asks us to read other books, to write other books, to engage with writing, with thought, reflect on what is going on. The young Muslim market is not catered for. You know, there is a huge vacuum in the market. And young Muslims are not just interested in reading books about Islam, they're interested in reading books per se, full stop. They're interested in everything.
The last book I read was The Alchemist. Jeffrey Archer, lots of Sidney Sheldon.
I read Islamic books about like the women of Islam.
There was an autobiography by a South African called Mark Matherbane.
It's called The Secret by Rhonda Burns.
I think it's very important that we affirm that faith is a very good and a valid starting point for contributing to our culture, to literature, to art, to our communities, to politics.
I don't think there's any reason why in the future we couldn't see a new British Muslim writer top of the bestseller list, winning the Booker Prize, you know, winning the Orange Prize. You know, it's all to play for, I would say.
It's the second year. We started it about 15 months ago. We had the first awards night back in March 2007. And to be honest with you, it was quite a humble affair. We had about 200 people there.
I wasn't here last year. It's all new to me. I think it's really good. I'm a convert to Islam and I'm also a writer. So maybe I'll be there next year. Yeah.
There are about 300 chief executives there. There are at least 50 or so senior parliamentarians, either in local government, regional government or national government. And that is an amazing achievement. And I think it's because the arts, you know, it's something that everybody can come together.
Well, at Penguin, we're really pleased to be involved with the Muslim Writers Awards. We saw it kick off last year, and we couldn't help but notice how much sort of enthusiasm and excitement was generated around that event. We don't find it very easy to really reach into the Muslim community here. We thought that these awards would really give us a doorway into a world that, frankly, we don't know well enough. We're looking to unearth great news stories about the Muslim experience in the UK, so that our publishing better reflects the kind of range of people living in the UK today.
I was shortlisted in the 2008 awards, and I can say that the exposure I received from having been associated with it was immense, made a huge difference to my sales.
The best thing about the Muslim Writers Awards is basically for youngsters to see other Muslims that are doing well as writers and be encouraged, to be inspired, to look at that and say, actually, yeah, they're all right, but I can do better. There has to be a voice, and if there's a voice, then we want to hear. You know, we want to hear what they're saying. So young Muslims or Muslim writers, there's definitely an audience for that, especially at the moment where people really want to know where a Muslim's coming from.
When I, for example, write, I don't just write for Muslims themselves. Of course, I'm a Muslim writer in a sense, and a lot of my writing reflects you know, what Muslims are up to. But I don't just write for Muslims. Also, so people read my books.
I have more of an audience in non-Muslims, maybe, because sometimes the Muslim community or your own community will always be so frightened of what you're trying to say, because your experiences are from within that community. But some of those experiences might not be good. It's going to be good and bad, which is what builds your character. And sometimes people go, what are you saying about us? I had that a lot with the Battle of Green Lanes. I had that from the Turkish Cypriot community. I had that from Muslims coming in and say, what are you saying? And all these prophets possessed the same religion, the religion of Islam. And the last of these prophets was Muhammad. Blessings of Allah and peace be upon him. And he was the one that gave us our din, our way of life, the way of life that would prepare us for the Day of Judgment.
My favourite writer is, one of my favourite writers rather, is Enid Blyton. I absolutely loved her books when I was a little girl. She wrote about, lots of very confident, very intelligent girls who, all the characters I wanted to be. She totally immersed me in her stories. And I wanted to write something like that for Muslim girls.
My favourite book is Barbara's French Lesson and fairy tales.
I really like C.S. Lewis's books, Narnia, The Land, the Witch and the Wardrobe.
I like Jacqueline Wilson. She writes Tracy Beaker books, which are really fun to read. This story is called Sleeping Beauty. There was once a king and queen who seemed to have everything that anyone could possibly want.
Oh,